We are at Hero's test track in Jaipur and the reason is this. This is the brand new Hero Xtreme 160R 4V. On the face of it, this seems like just a 4-valve head for the original Xtreme 160R, but there are a lot of changes under the skin. It has got new styling, it has got a lot of new bits and bobs. So overall, this is an enhanced motorcycle. Now, how's the experience changed? Well, we are going to be riding this motorcycle at Hero's test track and then out on the streets as well. So let's find out what's new on this motorcycle and how has that changed the riding experience. Now the biggest change is of course the engine, and it says 4-valve loud and clear over here. So this is still a 163cc single cylinder engine, but this is a virtually all new unit because all the internals have been changed. Now this engine produces around 16.6 bhp, so that's a bump of 1.5 bhp over the 2-valve version, and it also produces 14.6 Newton meters of torque, which is 0.6 Newton meters more than the Xtreme 160R. Now it also gets an oil cooler. The 2-valve version was just air cooled. So these are the changes that have been made on this motorcycle on the powertrain front. Now in the real world, well, of course, this engine definitely feels smoother and it also revs quite freely. So we just got to ride this motorcycle around the racetrack. The main thing that I noticed about this engine is how quickly it revs. And there is a lot of performance because this is a very light motorcycle. It just weighs 144 kilograms. Now the old one was, of course, lighter. It was 139 kilograms. But of course, the increase in weight, it doesn't play that kind of role that, the performance is bogged down. So I think this is still a fast motorcycle. Well, not fast, but very quick motorcycle because we didn't get to test the top speed today. But yeah, in terms of acceleration, Hero claims that it is the quickest motorcycle in its segment, and that includes the likes of the RTR 160-4V, the Bajaj Pulsar N160 and the lot. Of course, the MT-15 I think is going to be quicker, but Hero very cleverly say that it's only for oil-cooled competition. So the MT-15 is liquid-cooled competition. So I think that bike is going to be faster than this and quicker than this because it has obviously a lot more power. But coming back to the Xtreme 160R, well, yes, the engine is definitely the highlight because it has got grunt throughout the rev range, and because the engine revs so quickly, you're really not waiting for that because the throttle response is also very crisp, and the way this bike picks up momentum is also quite fun. Of course, it's a small 160cc engine, so at the top of the rev range, it sort of fizzles out the performance. But overall, I think in the city, you're going to enjoy this motorcycle. Also, the gearing is spot on. It's quite short, and you can really work the gearbox to get going because the performance is quite brisk in that sense. Now, what I also love about the engine is the fact that it's much smoother than the 2-valve version, and that's because from the bars and pegs, the vibrations are very controlled. In the sense, I remember the Xtreme 160R, it was a little vibey when you used to rev it around 6,000, 7,000 RPM. Well, of course, this is also a little vibey, but they are better damped in this motorcycle. So I think that has come because of the new engine, of course, and it definitely feels a lot smoother than the old engine. So for me, this is the main highlight of this motorcycle. This is the party piece of this motorcycle, the engine, because on the face of it, it doesn't seem like a new engine, but in terms of performance, well, it definitely feels a step up compared to the 160 2V version. So in terms of size and dimension, this is more or less the same as the 2V version. So that means it is around the same length. The width, of course, is more or less the same, but definitely this bike looks wider because the styling has been enhanced now, because Hero says this is a more aggressive stance. Now, of course, you can see it on the bike. There are a lot of new graphics. There is this Xtreme moniker, which is in 3D. So definitely the quality looks better than the old motorcycle. But of course, that's not old because the 2V is also going to be on sale alongside. Now, in terms of comfort and ergonomics, I think this is more or less again the same as the old bike because it is a little aggressive, but not to the point that it feels uncomfortable. So it has that sporty stance, but it doesn't come at the cost of your comfort. So the seat material is also quite nice. It is quite supportive, and you've got this new split seat setup with this motorcycle, the Pro version. The lower variants of course get a single seat, but the split seat is now optional as well. In terms of fit and finish and quality, I don't think a lot of work has gone into updating that, because the switchgear is more or less the same. It is okay quality. It's not the best in the business, but of course it is quite decent. Now the LCD display is also carried over from the old version. It is the same unit, but this motorcycle now gets Bluetooth connectivity, so it has got those SMS alerts and call notifications on the dash. So that's a new addition. In terms of accessibility, well, short riders will also love the low seat height of this motorcycle, because it's just 795 millimeters. So if you're 5'6", 5'7", you can flat foot it quite comfortably, and it's a very light motorcycle, like I said in the beginning. So in that regard, it feels like a very practical option. So in terms of design and styling, this is a sporty looking motorcycle. It's quite aggressive as well, and of course it's aimed at young college going enthusiasts. So I think in that regard, this is a job well done.
I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough but man's keep rapping. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man please use caution.
So by now you must have already noticed this brand new shiny fork over here. So this is the latest addition in the Xtreme 160R 4V. This is an upside down fork, and this is making its debut with the Xtreme 4V. So in terms of ride and handling, well, of course that has made a world of difference, because the way this motorcycle absorbs bump now, it is much better than the old motorcycle. And even in terms of handling the front end feel of this motorcycle, it was already good, but now it feels more planted, and there is that more feedback coming to the rider from these front forks. So I think it feels very stable. It is still a quick steering motorcycle, because it has got a short wheelbase, and it has always been a great motorcycle to ride. It always feels very light on its feet. So that thing hasn't changed, but of course it is much better. And overall, the ride quality, I think that has improved vastly, but at the same time, the handling has also improved. Now the front has of course got this 37mm KYB upside down fork, but at the back you have now got a Showa 7-step preload adjustable suspension. So overall the setup is quite pliant. It doesn't feel soggy, it doesn't feel springy, and I think the way this motorcycle rides, whether you're riding it in the city, you'll absolutely love the ride quality, and even if you are riding around twisties, you will love the handling and the composure of this motorcycle. So I think in that regard also it feels very sporty. It's not just the looks. So overall the package in terms of ride and handling also has been enhanced to a greater degree. Now coming to the braking performance, well, I think that deserves a special mention, because the brakes are really sharp on this motorcycle. Sometimes a little too sharp, because when you're riding it fast, it really tips the front end, because these are big, massive 276mm front pedal discs. So this is really quite sharp. Of course, in terms of the overall sporty appeal of the motorcycle, that goes well, because it has got that braking force that you need from this motorcycle. So if you're riding it hard and aggressive, you'll love the bite from the front brake. At the back also, it has got a disc, but this motorcycle is only available with single channel ABS. So it doesn't get dual channel ABS even in the top end Pro version. So I think that is a bit of a miss. Time for the verdict then, and I think this is a great motorcycle. We have always loved the Xtreme 160R for what it is. It is a very capable motorcycle. It is quite refined, and it is always fun to ride. Now in this version, the latest 4V Avatar, it has definitely enhanced the riding experience of this motorcycle, because it definitely feels much sharper, it definitely feels more pliant, and it has a more refined engine. On top of that, it's also priced really well. It starts at around 1,27,000 rupees, and this Pro variant costs 1.36 lakhs. So I think overall that is good value for money. And again, if you're young, you are looking for a sporty motorcycle that's also light on your pocket, I think the Xtreme 160R is still the motorcycle to go for in its segment.